One cough could kill. Inside the pneumonic plague. Health every day. If I told you there's still a disease out there, one that once killed hundreds of millions of people, and it's quietly lingering somewhere in the U.S., would you believe me? This isn't a movie plot. It's a real disease. And one of its most dangerous forms is something called pneumonic plague. Today, in our Health Everyday series, I'm not here to scare you. I'm here to help you understand this illness so you can protect yourself and the people you love. Part 1. General Introduction to the Disease. Pneumonic plague is a rare but extremely deadly form of what's known as the bubonic plague, the same plague that tore through Europe during the Black Death. You might think it's ancient history, but the bacteria that cause it, Yersinia pestis, still exist. Pneumonic plague is the fastest spreading version. It attacks the lungs directly, and here's the scary part. It can spread from one person to another just through a cough. Part 2. How it spreads and what causes it. I once spoke with a veterinarian in New Mexico, one of the few states that still occasionally reports plague cases. He told me about a hunter who picked up a ground squirrel. Less than 2 days later, the man was in the hospital, fighting for his life. Here's how it works. Yersinia pestis can enter your body in two main ways. The first is through the bite of an infected flea, usually from wild rodents like prairie dogs or squirrels. But the second? That's the one that worries me most. It's through the air. If someone with pneumonic plague coughs and you breathe in those tiny droplets, you could be next. And you might not even realize it until it's too late. Part 3. Symptoms and disease progression. Here's the thing. Everything happens fast. I'm not exaggerating. At first it feels like the flu. High fever, cough, fatigue. But then, the cough gets worse. You're coughing up blood. You can't breathe. Your chest feels like it's on fire. One survivor I read about described it as like having flames in your lungs. And if you don't get the right antibiotics in time, you could die within 24 to 48 hours. That's why doctors call this the fulminant form. It hits hard, and it hits fast. Part 4. Diagnosis and treatment. When it comes to pneumonic plague, time is everything. When we suspect a case, we don't wait around. On the front lines, we'll usually collect a sample of sputum, run tests for the F1 antigen, or try to culture the bacteria in the lab. But here's the truth. Sometimes, a doctor has to act before the results are even back. The main treatment? Antibiotics. And when given early, medications like streptomycin, gentamicin, or doxycycline, they work really well. I remember a case from Colorado back in 2015. It was a young patient. The local clinic doctor didn't waste time. He trusted his gut and started antibiotics immediately. That decision? It saved a life. Part 5. Spread and risk. What makes pneumonic plague so frightening is that it doesn't need fleas or rodents to spread. One infected person can pass it to another just by breathing. That's why, if a case is confirmed, the CDC and local health departments step in right away with isolation, contact tracing, and full outbreak control protocols. I always tell my patients, you don't need to panic, but you do need to stay alert, especially if you live in the southwestern U.S., places like Arizona, New Mexico, or Colorado, where wild rodents and fleas are still a part of the natural environment. Part 6. Prevention and self-care. So what can we do to protect ourselves? First of all, rodent control. Keep your home clean, especially if you live in a rural area. No open food, no trash piles, no holes where mice can get in. Second, protect your pets. If you have dogs or cats, make sure they're on flea prevention. A single flea can carry more danger than you might think. Third, if you're hiking, camping, or hunting, wear gloves when handling wild animals and wash your hands thoroughly. And finally, if you've been in close contact with someone who has pneumonic plague, don't wait. Contact your local health provider. You might be offered preventive antibiotics. A simple 7-day course could stop the disease before it starts. You know, the amazing thing is this: bubonic plague, for all the terror it caused in the past, is no longer the monster it once was. Today, thanks to modern medicine and public awareness, it's treatable, manageable, and most of all, preventable. But that only works if we're willing to talk about it, recognize it, and take action. So take care of your health every day, not just with pills or checkups, but with knowledge. And if this video helped you understand something new today, go ahead and share it. Because maybe, just maybe, one day, it could save someone close to you. Part 7. The role of early diagnosis in public health systems. Here's something most people don't realize. In the United States, we actually have one of the most effective disease surveillance systems in the world. The CDC, our Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, monitors potential plague hotspots every year, especially across the Southwest, Arizona, New Mexico, and Colorado. Most years, there are just a few reported cases, sometimes only 1 or 2. But because of early detection and prompt treatment, most patients make a full recovery. I remember attending a CDC conference back in 2019. It brought together veterinarians, public health experts, and doctors who shared how they track flea populations and monitor wild rodents in remote mountain and desert regions. It's the kind of work the average person never sees, but it's the quiet shield that helps keep millions of us safe. That's what strong public health is all about. Part 8. Vaccines and preventive treatment. People often ask me, is there a vaccine for the plague? And the answer is yes, but it's limited. Right now, it's mainly used for high-risk groups, like lab researchers who work directly with Yersinia pestis, or folks who live in long-term endemic areas. For the rest of us, what matters more is something called post-exposure prophylaxis. If you've been in close contact with someone who has pneumonic plague, your doctor might prescribe a course of antibiotics, usually doxycycline or ciprofloxacin, for about 5 to 7 days. It's a simple step, but it can stop the infection before the bacteria ever get a chance to take hold. I've always believed that health knowledge shouldn't be something distant or complicated. It should be something everyone can access and understand. Think of it this way. Yersinia pestis isn't nearly as aggressive as something like Ebola. But if you don't know you've been exposed or don't know what to do, then it doesn't really matter whether it's a bacteria or a virus. The outcome could still be serious. That's why I made this video. Not to scare you, but to inform you. So you can be alert, not afraid. Because staying healthy every day, health every day, isn't just about medicine. It's about being aware, prepared, and empowered. And if this message helped you, share it. Someone you love might need it, even if they don't know it yet. Part 9. Connecting the plague to everyday health and community responsibility. Now I know. Talking about the plague might sound like we're rewinding back to the Middle Ages. But if you live near the wilderness, if you have young kids, elderly parents, or even pets that wander through the woods, then this isn't some distant historical trivia. It's real, it's relevant, and it's something worth thinking about today. So let me ask you, have you taken steps to protect your home and yard from rodents? When was the last time you checked your pets for fleas or took them for a vet visit? And if someone in your family suddenly developed a high fever or started coughing up blood, after a camping trip, for instance, would you think to call a doctor right away? Sometimes it's these small choices that matter most. Cleaning your home, protecting your pets, learning from reliable sources. These aren't big, dramatic moves, but they are what I call health every day, not just when you're sick, but when you're healthy and want to stay that way. You see, bubonic plague, whether it shows up as swollen lymph nodes or as pneumonia in the lungs, may no longer be the pandemic it once was. But that doesn't mean we can let our guard down. If this video helped you understand the plague a little better, leave a comment below saying, "I understand bubonic plague better now." Or, if you've got a question or a story to share, drop it in the comments. I read every single one, and I'll respond in future videos. And if someone you know lives in a high-risk area, share this video with them. Sometimes one piece of knowledge shared at the right moment can truly make all the difference. I'm Dr. Andrew Collins. Thank you for spending this time with me today. In this age of information, sometimes the hardest thing to find is the right information. I hope this video was that for you. See you next time on Health Every Day. Stay healthy, not just today, but every day.